Weddings are supposed to be the happiest day of your life. Mine felt like the universe looked dead at me and said, "Let me show you a plot twist, sweetheart." My name is Aria Monroe, 29 years old back then, raised in a house where appearances mattered more than air. My parents were the kind who bought affection with Amex cards and called that love. My sister? The golden child. The kind of girl who blinked and received things I worked years for. If privilege was a sport, she had Olympic medals. Her name was Savannah. Blonde, perfect skin, a laugh that sounded like a fake perfume commercial. On the outside, she looked like the girl next door. On the inside, a rattlesnake dipped in honey. But I didn't know that level of poison yet. Back then, I was marrying Liam Carter, the man who owned half of Manhattan's nightlife, CEO of Carter Hospitality, worth more than the GDP of small countries. I thought I'd won the lottery in love. Turns out I'd just signed up for emotional bankruptcy. Our wedding was at the Grand Pearl Resort in Malibu. Private cliffs, orchids dripping from crystal arches, champagne that cost more than my first car. Every detail burned money like it was scented candles. Walking through the venue felt like stepping into a music video. Gold accents, soft lighting, a breeze that smelled like salt and roses. Guests in Valentino and Versace. Staff who moved like ballerinas trained to be invisible. I remember fixing my veil while staring at myself in the massive mirror. My dress was custom, hand-beaded, ivory silk that clung in all the right places. I looked beautiful, the kind of beautiful I dreamed of as a little girl watching Cinderella. But the whole time, I couldn't shake a weird ache in my chest. Not nerves, not fear, like something inside me already knew a storm was coming. Then Savannah walked in a white dress. A white dress. To my wedding. Subtle enough to claim innocence, bold enough to send a message. She twirled like she was auditioning for a fragrance commercial. "Oh my God, Ari, don't freak out. It's cream, not white." It was white. Snow white, wedding white. My best friend Mila sent me a look that basically said, "You want me to choke her or you want to do it?" But I forced a smile because drama at my wedding, that was not going to be the headline. Not yet. Liam came to see me before the ceremony. Even though it's against tradition, a small part of me found it sweet until I saw Savannah slip out the back door right before he walked in. Her lipstick smeared. His tie slightly crooked. I blinked, ignored the alarm bells. "Baby," he whispered, holding my waist, "you ready to marry me?" I nodded, but something inside me whispered, "Ready for what?" He kissed my forehead and walked out. His cologne lingered, and so did doubt. I brushed it off, told myself I was being dramatic, told myself Savannah couldn't possibly. But she could, and she did. The ceremony began. Music swelled. My father held my arm like I was a business deal he was escorting down the aisle. Everyone stood for me. Cameras flashed. Whispers floated. For a moment, everything was perfect. And then I saw Liam's face. He was pale, nervous, hands shaking, eyes not on me. Eyes locked on Savannah, standing in the front row, smiling like she already won something. I tried to convince myself I imagined it. But then the universe said, "Let's really mess her up today." The officiant got through the first lines when Liam suddenly cleared his throat. Then he stepped back and whispered, "I can't." The crowd gasped. My heart dropped through the marble floor. "What do you mean you can't?" I said, my voice cracking. Liam looked at me with guilt painted all over him, and then he turned his head toward my sister. Savannah didn't look shocked. She didn't look confused. She didn't even try to hide it. She smiled. Liam stepped away from me at the altar and walked straight to her. I heard someone whisper, "Is this real?" Someone else whispered, "Savannah always wanted what Aria had." My vision blurred, my ears rang. All I saw were their silhouettes leaning into each other like I was just background furniture. Then Liam's voice cut through the room. "I'm sorry, Aria. I'm in love with Savannah." Guests gasped, like they were watching a live-action soap opera. Savannah looked at me with fake sympathy, then said the line that snapped something in me. "It just happened. Don't be mad. Don't be mad." I stood there, humiliated in front of 200 people, abandoned in the most public way possible. Then the worst part? They walked out together, hand in hand, through the aisle meant for me, while guests tried to pretend they weren't watching the juiciest scandal of the decade. I didn't cry. Shock froze every tear. All I remembered was my mother whispering behind me, "Well, at least someone kept him in the family." That moment rewired my entire personality. For weeks, I stayed at Mila's penthouse in Manhattan. She had one of those modern downtown apartments with floor-to-ceiling windows and enough wine to drown a yacht. I barely slept, barely ate. I stared at the skyline every night like it had answers. But one question haunted me. Why Savannah? I wasn't stupid. I knew Liam was rich, charming, powerful. But Savannah? She was always drawn to things that sparkled. Status, money, envy. Something didn't add up. Then 2 months later, a letter arrived. Well, more like a bomb. Anonymously sent, no return address. Inside, photos. Photos of Liam and Savannah together long before the wedding. Private dinners, hotel rooms, him brushing her hair, her sitting on his lap. Dated 6 months before I even said yes to the proposal. My hands shook. Heat climbed my throat. I realized something terrifying. They didn't fall in love on wedding day. They were together the whole damn time, and they let me walk down the aisle like a pawn. They wanted the spectacle. They wanted the attention. They wanted the scandal. And my own family? They were in on it. I could feel it in my bones. I wasn't the daughter they adored. I was the daughter they used. And for the first time in my life, instead of crying, I laughed. A cold, sharp laugh, because destiny woke up the woman I was meant to become. Not the soft one, not the obedient one, not the nice one, but the one who doesn't get played twice. 4 months after the wedding disaster, I did something reckless. I booked a ticket to New York Fashion Week where my childhood friend Jade, a famous designer, had front row seats waiting for me. Everyone whispered when I walked in. The runaway bride, the abandoned fiancé, the Monroe scandal. But I wore a red backless gown that looked like revenge sewn into fabric. Cameras loved me. People stared. Whispers followed. And I realized something. Pity can be power when you flip it right. The tabloids ran with it. Aria Monroe makes iconic comeback after wedding scandal. The billionaire who abandoned her will regret it. The revenge era of the Monroe heiress begins. I didn't correct them. Let them build my myth. Then my work life exploded too. I launched my skincare line, Aurora Luxe, that I've been planning for years but never had the courage to release. It sold out in 24 hours. Interviews came. Brand deals flooded. Oprah's team called. Not joking. Money rolled in. More than I imagined. More than Liam ever had. I bought a penthouse, a car with butterfly doors, a pair of red bottoms for every day of the week. With every success, every spotlight, every headline, their betrayal got smaller, and my empire got bigger. But what I didn't know? Savannah and Liam were crashing hard. A friend in real estate told me months later, "Girl, Savannah is selling her Hermes bags on consignment. Liam's new hotel flopped, and apparently he's drowning in debt because he tried to impress her." I smirked so hard, my face hurt. The perfect couple, the soulmates who humiliated me, they were fighting every week according to family gossip. Savannah cheating, Liam drinking, money flowing like water in a broken fountain. Karma has no menu. You get served what you deserve. But I wasn't done. The universe wasn't done, because next came the twist that flipped the entire universe in my direction. 2 years after the wedding disaster, at a charity gala in Chicago, I met Damian Knox, and not the, "oh, he's cute" type. No, this man walked in like he owned gravity. Tall, perfectly tailored black suit, jaw sharp enough to slice diamonds, eyes so dark they looked like secrets. CEO of Knox International, self-made billionaire, the kind of man who didn't need to speak loudly to command a room. He approached me with a smile that was too confident to be accidental. "You're Aria Monroe, aren't you?" I nodded. "Depends on who's asking." He chuckled. "Someone who knows a diamond when he sees one." Smooth, but not slimy. We talked all night about business, travel, art, betrayal, ambition. I didn't tell him my story. He didn't push. But something about him felt like steel wrapped in velvet. I felt safe, for the first time in years. 3 months later, we were inseparable. 6 months later, he looked at me on a cliffside balcony in Santorini and said, "Marry me. And this time, let's make sure no one steals the spotlight." I laughed. "You have no idea." He pulled me close. "Arya, I don't want your spotlight. I want your entire night sky." I said yes. A soft yes. A healed yes. A yes I didn't expect to ever say again. He became my husband, my safety, my equal, my revenge without ever meaning to be. But destiny, she loves a dramatic encore. Because years later, when I walked 3 years after the wedding disaster, I was no longer that heartbroken girl left standing at an altar. I was Mrs. Arya Knox, wife to one of America's most powerful, private, and dangerously strategic businessmen. If Liam was a wave, Damien was a damn tsunami. And on the night everything came full circle, Damien and I were attending the Grantchester Legacy Gala, a billionaire's only gathering where power dressed itself in gold gowns and tailored tuxedos. The venue was a ballroom dripping in Swarovski crystals, chandeliers so massive it felt like walking under galaxies, marble floors warmed from underneath, and champagne that probably cost someone's mortgage. I wore a black velvet gown with a slit high enough to make a priest stutter, diamond choker, hair pinned, confidence on maximum volume. Damien wore a black suit with no tie, shirt undone just enough to disrespect the entire male population. His hand rested on my lower back as we walked in, possessive but respectful, firm but soft. That man knew how to touch without taking. But the moment we stepped inside, I felt it. Eyes. Someone staring. Then I heard the whisper of my past before I saw it. "Oh my God, isn't that Arya Monroe?" And another voice gasped, "She's with Damien Knox?" Then a familiar voice I would have recognized even in hell, Savannah. She turned, and when she saw me, she stopped breathing. She wore a gold gown that tried way too hard. Her hair curled like she wanted to look old money. Her face was tired, worn down, eyes hollowed by stress she tried to cover with glitter. And standing beside her, looking like he aged 10 years and 3, was Liam. No sharp suit, no confidence, just a broken man who realized karma had teeth. His jaw dropped. His glass slipped from his hand and shattered. Savannah's fingers dug into his arm. They froze. But not because of me, because standing beside me was Damien Knox, the man whose net worth made Liam look like he collected coupons. Savannah's voice cracked. "Arya? What are you doing here?" I smiled like the devil walked into a church. "Sweetheart, I was invited." Damien slid his hand around my waist and kissed my cheek. "Everything all right, baby?" "Baby." Liam flinched like the word was a bullet. Savannah blinked. "Is that Damien Knox?" Damien extended his hand slowly, politely, ruthlessly. "Pleasure. I've heard absolutely nothing about you." Savannah looked offended. Liam looked sick. I looked like I was having the best night of my life. Savannah tried to laugh. It came out shrill. "So, Arya, it's been a while." "Not long enough," I replied. She stiffened. Liam cleared his throat. "Arya, look, I know things happen, but..." "Things? You mean leaving me at the altar? Publicly humiliating me and running away with my sister?" People around them pretended to casually sip champagne while eavesdropping. Savannah's smile faltered. "Well, love is complicated." Damien's eyebrow twitched. "Oh, so that was love? Interesting definition." You know about that?" she asked. He smirked. "Everyone knows. It trended." Liam's face flushed with humiliation. Savannah tried again. "But you two, how did that even..." Damien squeezed my waist. "We met after she built her company into a global success. The woman is unstoppable. A real woman, not a parasite. Savannah choked on air. Liam's mouth opened, then closed like he was swallowing defeat. The orchestra began to play, the dance floor lit up. Damien leaned close. Want to put on a show? I smirked. Please do. We walked to the dance floor. Damien held me close, forehead touching mine. Our bodies moved in sync. You doing okay? He whispered. Better than I ever imagined. Good. Then let's finish what they started. Meaning? I asked. He looked at them with a quiet, lethal smile. Meaning, I'm about to end their entire delusional comeback plan. What comeback plan? I frowned. He pulled me closer. Arya, you really never asked why they're here tonight? No, why? Because Savannah and Liam are trying to sell a bankrupt business to one of my competitors. I stared. Bankrupt? Completely. And they're trying to sell it off? Yes. And my sister, the woman who stole my fiancé, is begging billionaires for money? Damien's lips brushed my forehead. Something like that. I laughed quietly, darkly. So what now? He spun me, pulling me back to his chest. Now, we let them walk right into their own delusional grave. When the dance ended, Damien led me to the bar. His tone shifted, serious, dangerous. Arya, there's something you need to know. Something I found out months ago. I tensed. What is it? He hesitated. Your sister didn't just steal your fiancé. My stomach twisted. What do you mean? They plan to ruin you financially too. My blood ran cold. What? I found records, emails, bank transfers, deals under your name. Under my name? Arya, your parents and Savannah convinced Liam to put your signature on debt agreements before the wedding. They would have blamed you for everything once they left. My heart pounded. That's why they pushed so hard for the paperwork. My mom kept saying, sign now, fix later. They weren't planning a marriage. They were planning a heist. I gripped the counter. I would have been bankrupt, completely ruined. Damien nodded. That's why someone sent you those photos. They wanted you to start asking questions. The anonymous letter. It was me. I investigated your family the moment I met you. Shock rippled through me. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because I needed enough evidence to destroy them legally. I wasn't going to let anyone hurt you. My throat tightened. And now? Now, we strike. He guided me back towards Savannah and Liam as they pitched their failing business to investors. When they saw Damien approaching, they brightened desperately. Mr. Knox, we've been hoping to speak with you. No, Damien said. Liam froze. No? Damien stepped closer. You think I'd invest a dime in thieves, in frauds, in a woman who destroyed her own sister? Savannah paled. What are you talking about? You used Arya's accounts, her name, her signature. He laid a folder on the table, opened it slowly. Emails, bank statements, contracts. Every investor leaned in. Savannah whispered, You can't prove. I can, and I will. You will both be served by morning. Liam stuttered, Who said? I did. Savannah panicked. Arya, please, listen, it was a misunderstanding. You stole my fiancé, my dignity, and tried to steal my future. Nothing about that is a misunderstanding. She reached for me. I stepped back. Don't touch me. Fraud might rub off. Gasps echoed. Damien slid an arm around me. Ready? Savannah whispered, For what? To announce that my wife, Arya Knox, is joining the Grantchester board. Savannah's jaw dropped. Liam looked ready to faint. And as her first executive request, I have advised me to blacklist any business